Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with 3 professional auctioneers and myself, and we are looking to find the word on the block. Just a little spin on words. It's not the word on the street for us. It's word on the block. If you haven't been around the auction industry before, that's what we call the place where we do all the magic, is the auction block. I am joined by Jason Deal, who is a Tennessee auctioneer, and he is camped out in Clinton, Tennessee area. Also joined by another Tennessee auctioneer, Mr. Drew Williams, who is in Dixon, Tennessee. And I believe Stephen LaRiviere is in Fairfax, Virginia.
Not even close.
Dang, I was close.
Galax. But not
Galax.
Fairfax, man. That's way out of
That's Yankee territory, man. Come on.
That's like basically Maryland.
Yeah, I'm not even really sure where you're at on a map, but I know you're nowhere close.
Just take 40, 81, follow it down, and I'm about an hour and a half inside Virginia.
Cool. Hey, so this is our first, my first broadcast on Word on the Block, and I just want to kind of give everybody what to expect. I mean, if you're looking for something pretty and polished, you're probably in the wrong spot. Anything I'm a part of is typically not going to be pretty. So we can start with that. And ultimately what I want to do is talk to these guys about what's going on in the auction industry. We are in uncharted territory right now. It is April 15th of 2020. This will obviously be up for years, but I mean, we're in the middle of COVID-19. It's a national pandemic. We're not sure what tomorrow will bring. It's uncharted territory for the auction industry. It's uncharted territory for every industry. So I wanted to talk to these guys candidly and ask them some questions. And if you guys have any questions, we do have the chat box is up. Just comment away and I'll ask. But I'm going to throw it over to Jason first because I feel like him and I have been on about 30 podcasts together over the last couple of weeks. Jason's killing it both in the real estate and the auction industry. And just kind of toss it over to him and see what's going on out there in Clinton.
Well, first and foremost, I wanted to share this live. I'm looking for it, Shane. Have you seen it on your page? Since we're just kind of hanging here.
Well,
I just wanted to see if I could share it.
People watching somewhere, so let me see where that's at.
Yes.
I don't see it on your page.
Okay.
Beth says it's not on your page either, Shane.
Well then.
Where are we live at?
About 4 different spots. Let's see.
I'm live in my living room.
Right. Drew, you're always live, buddy.
Yeah.
Go to Shane McCarroll Auctioneer.
Oh,
Shane
there we
McCarroll
go.
Auctioneer.
It's showing up there. I'm showing it's on 4 different ones, but I can see it live there.
That's what I was looking for, buddy.
I think it's live on my page now. It must be coming in slowly. I don't know.
I think it's live on his page now too.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to share this on my personal page. Boom.
Yes, sir.
And then Shane, you're going to gain some serious followers here because that's what I do. I make impacts.
Mm-hmm.
I grow your page. I'm getting ready to share it on the Knoxville Business Show. Boom.
All 3 of those
And
people, I'm sure.
The 3 of those people. But then I'm going to share it on the Jason Deal fan page. Boom. Lots of love to you, my man. So, first of all, Shane, thanks for putting this together, man. I love it. Word on the block. That's brilliant. So I'm in East Tennessee, and I think, Stephen, I think you know this. I don't know if you do or not, but I grew up in Virginia. I'm a Virginia Tech fan. Go Hokies through and through from Southwest Virginia. Oh, God, that must mean he's a never mind. So, kind of Southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, California. Guess what? We're all in the same world right now. It doesn't matter if you're in the mountains. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter where you are. We're all just kind of trying to figure this out together. East Tennessee, because here's kind of what's going on. I was fortunate enough to have a Zoom meeting tonight with some small business owners, and just been kind of working with them on helping small businesses survive right now. We got a lot of small businesses, as we all know, kind of make up the the structure of a large portion of business within the United States. And we've all just kind of teamed up. Tonight was our very first night for Anderson and Knox County. And Knox County is in Knoxville, where the University of Tennessee is. You know, we got about 1.2 million people. We're growing steadily. Had everybody together tonight. We had about 25 small businesses on tonight, and we just kind of sharing ideas of how to survive COVID-19 and the impacts. We had a podcast this morning on the Knoxville Business Show with my brother, who was the general manager at a GMC dealership, and talking about how COVID-19 has reflected and affected buying and selling new and used vehicles. So that's pretty important. And then, of course, in the auction world, man, you know, had 3 phone calls today. People are still dying. People are still getting a divorce. COVID-19 is not stopping that. So we booked a couple of auctions today in particular. We got pickups going on. So, you know, we haven't really seen a dramatic slowdown. You know, phones, we normally get about 25 to 30 calls a week with the states with either questions or people who have things to sell. And this week, we're at about par. So, you know, again, people are just kind of continued along par for course. But I feel like we got the spring rush coming, which I'm anxious to hear what you guys have to say about that. In the real estate industry, March, kind of mid-March, end of March, first part of April, we see this massive spike, right? Homes coming in on the market, buyers are out moving around and buying. We really haven't seen that yet. So I feel like that's coming here pretty soon, probably mid-May, first part of June. Just kind of keeping track of that, watching buying habits, watching buying activity, creating content, and sharing the story. I mean, a lot of stuff going on.
Jason, I hate to cut you off, but I want to show you the most important comment we've had so far. First ever comment. I think this will set the precedence for the future of the word on the block. Boom. Nikki Jackson.
Is that a real person?
Yeah. Make sure
it looks like a spam account.
Yeah, I've never heard of her.
If it's real, I mean, make sure you send her $20. I mean, come on.
It's actually a guy.
Okay, him. Exactly.
So
that explains a lot, actually.
If we don't shut Jason up, he won't stop talking. So we're going to go to Stephen.
That's right.
You know, I mean, I've ran into you at a couple competitions. I know that you're doing some killer stuff right now. Kind of the first person I would say that I saw publicly to offer their services in what we're calling kind of a new era of virtual auctioneer. So, you know, there's some folks out here in Chattanooga, Paige and the Holt family, Stephen Holt, sorry, Paige and Steve Holt. And they used to, one of the first people I saw do it a few years ago, they had these huge auctions, but they would do it in their warehouse and they just have a microphone and they would kind of do this simulcast thing. And then that went away because the online only and the simulcast and the virtual auction, you know, the hybrid, as some people call it, took off. But talk to us about the state of the auction industry up north, if you will. And then ultimately kind of your services and what you're offering, because I think it's a genius idea.
Well, I mean, the auction industry in Southwest Virginia, where we're at, I mean, we're not the most southern part of Virginia, but we're about there, right on the North Carolina line. It is strong. Sorry, my 1-year-old keeps trying to come in. But no, it's strong. I mean, we are seeing our registrations grow week over week. I mean, we are seeing a huge prices are strong. I mean, as strong as we've ever seen them. And the reason we were doing all live auctions, the reason we switched to virtual auctions was versus just the online only, is it just gave us more interaction with our buyers, with our bidders, and people absolutely love it. I was a little worried that the learning curve would be too much for my clientele, but they absolutely love it. So, but no, I am offering, due to demand, I had a ton of auctioneers after I posted that I did my first one, had a ton of auctioneers contact me, want to know how I did it, what to do, got people that had never been online before. And so I come up with the idea, well, you know, they may not have the equipment, may not have the know-how, whatever, may not feel like it. I have it all. I might as well offer my services. So, for pretty reasonable fee, I'll sit down, kill evening, day, whatever you need, and we'll do a virtual auction for you.
Hey, and we did just the other day, I talked to Jason and Drew about this. We do a lot of online only auctions.
Mm-hmm.
When this COVID thing first hit, I had a company reach out to me, some dear friends of mine here locally that had a consignment shop. They had to shut the doors. They had like 160 vendors. Those 160 vendors aren't selling product, which means they're not paying booth rent, which means ultimately the shop isn't making any money. And these are folks that are great business people. And I did an online only for them. The vendors all brought some stuff. We just did one. And I mean, it was going to succeed either way, but I just decided to take it from an online only to a simulcast, which essentially is virtual because it was in my living room. And, I felt like, and I talked about it financially, I don't know if it made a difference. I don't think unless you had something to exactly compare it to, I don't think we would ever know if it made a financial difference. But I do know that I was contacted by 11 people, of which were on that night and said, dang, it was nice to have something to do. Mm-hmm. It was nice to have something to get away from the nonsense and really, kind of engage in an auction. So, and I'm with you, there's a lot of auctioneers out there that haven't called bids for 3 and 4 hours solid. And I know you come from that cloth because I came from, my own auction gallery where you don't have a relief. And Drew's actually got one coming up, Drew, and we'll transition to that because he's going to do one and he's decided to take the leap and do it too. And he said to me, now I know he won't mind me sharing this, I don't know if I can sell for 3 hours straight anymore. I mean, think about it.
Don't have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Force yourself to do it. I mean, that's how I learned. I mean, really, it was, we were doing a benefit auction one time and I hadn't been licensed that long, hadn't been doing it. And I was up there maybe 45 minutes, my voice is starting to wear. I started coughing a little bit. And my he's sitting back there eating something. And I said, Dad, I need a break. He said, nope, you're going to finish it. And he refused to let me down. And ever since then, I mean, that was 2009, right after I got licensed. And, I've done 6, 8, 9 hour sales without a break.
Hey, before Drew says anything, hashtag fake news. This just came across. And it literally says Facebook user. They don't even have a name or something. I mean, seriously.
Did your wife just type
Russian
that?
propaganda.
I'm pretty sure that did not come from my wife. It wouldn't have said anything like that.
It looks like Russian propaganda.
Yeah. Hey, so Drew,
CNN.
Drew and Dixon, you guys are doing online auctions. Obviously, Beth kind of steers the ship when it comes to traditional real estate over there. I know you guys are still doing some transactions on the traditional side. And because of the COVID, I know that most folks are doing online auctions, and I know that's what you're doing. So kind of talk about state of the industry, if you will, at the online auctions. And then you signed a deal today, maybe with a local vendors, and just kind of throw this up. This is one of the vendors from the place, and she's actually got her own shop here locally. And I mean, they say they're making a difference. So I'm kind of inspired by you continuing that in Dixon County, Drew.
So I'm in Dixon, Tennessee. I'm 30 or 35 miles west of Nashville. So give you a little geographical point for me. But we've got an online going now. We actually will start in the morning with a local market where there's booths and all. I'm not sure, Shane, how many booths, but we're talking about several booths and lots of consigners. Actually going to do, I'm not sure if they decide if they're going to do a simulcast or not. I'm fine with it. It's, of course, our benefit auctions, we're used to selling 3 or 4 items, but selling 3 or 4 hours straight just doesn't happen because there's, usually a handful of us, handing off. But the simulcast, I think, would be fun. Booked another online auction today, which is an antique store. I don't think they're hurting. They just want to move some product and, keep the game going. And so we actually have booked 2 auctions in the last 2 days, which is, pretty heavy for us. The traditional real estate here, we looked at 2 good pieces of property this week. There's still buyers, got an offer in on a piece of property this week. So the real estate market is certainly not dead here. There's always buyers for real estate if it's priced right and somebody's looking. I don't think the COVID-19 has done us any favors as far as people looking. I think it's really slowed that down, but I have felt a big turn. Certainly, gosh, Jason, if I got 25 phone calls from people wanting to talk estates in a week, I'd be worn out, but it would be a good problem to have. But getting a couple of sales booked this week felt really awesome. Got a couple more to talk to. So, we're sort of in, I'm kind of following Shane's model as far as, trying to help people out and that kind of thing and be of service. We really, we had our online auction that closed last week. I had about 25% more bidders than I'm used to. More views, Jason. My auction that's going now is very heavy in coins and knives, pocket knives. I've got a really good early showing, probably the best early showing I've ever had as far as registered bidders. We've changed our mass email up this week and gone to constant contact. Gosh, I wish we would have done that 3 months ago. When you send that email blast out and you see 7 or 8 registered bidders in the first hour, my goodness, blew my mind. Tracking numbers and best the genius that you're laughing because this is all the stuff and we just can't, we can't learn it all. And, you and Shane can't tell it all to me at one time because you can't think of it, but it's really changed.
Yeah, we make a lot of it on the fly. That's why, Drew.
Well, that's probably
being
true too.
Being an auctioneer, man, is just learning new things all the time.
Yeah, it is, and adjusting, and we're just thankful that we were doing some online auctions before all this hit, because we would certainly be dead in the water. And we had a couple coming, and I do have a very good tech person that lives in the house with me, so that does help. And she's a little bit nerdy when it comes to that email stuff and all. And I'm telling you, that was a very, very big game changer. Man, you'll let anybody on this thing, apparently.
Hey, I'm telling you, we got to give Diamond Dave my hand now.
You'll let anybody on here.
Diamond Dave's works for us at Phillip Trailer Auctions and Land, works with us. Gosh, I think he's been at the Nissan plant for like 30 years. And he's one of those guys, Stephen, that, at our consignment sales, we'll run 2 rings. And Phillip will sell for 3.5 or 4 hours and never get out of the topper. And I'll work the ground and go to the bathroom 10 times. And David will be in the other truck and same thing. He'll just sell his face off. I don't know who this is, but Jason,
the last consignment sale.
What's that?
Shane, I wanted to tell the last consignment sale, when you ask Diamond Dave if he wants you to sell, he's getting down to the nitty gritty stuff. So I asked him if he wanted me to back him up, and he said, "Yeah, I'll get you some of this." So he's in the short rows when he lets you in there.
Jason, this is a great question for you. This is the same fake account that complimented Drew earlier. They're trying to give themselves some credibility here. And I think I know the answer to this, but because of this COVID thing, and I know that you're heavy on content right now, which is an exact reason what's happening this moment is happening, because I think it's important too. We have a very captive audience. Talk to us about your marketing in general and how you've kind of pivoted a little bit with so much online only presence.
Yeah, man, that's a heck of a good question there. So, we have really been so you realize that organic content is easy. It's an easy win. It's free. Everybody can do it, right? Everybody's got this iPhone, smartphone. It's easy to set up your camera and run videos, run some short 10, 15, 20, 2-minute video clips and push organic stuff. And those are easy wins, especially B2B right now, guys. So if you're business to business, if you're looking for clients, if you're looking for consigners, LinkedIn is where you want to be. You hear a lot of people trying to figure out how to use LinkedIn. Well, the fact of the matter is, it's not that hard. You just post content. You don't have to do paid ads against LinkedIn. LinkedIn ads are pretty expensive, so you don't have to worry about going paid ads. So here's what I'm seeing, Shane, is there is hundreds of thousands of small businesses that have pulled back with both Facebook and Instagram ads, which has opened up more ad space on both of those platforms. As a result, and let's talk micro for a second. You want to know how we're changing what was the question? How have you changed your marketing? Let's talk about that. Let's talk micro, very micro stuff. So what we've done is understand how to create a custom audience and build a lookalike audience based off of Drew. You got coin auctions coming up. If this is your first coin auction, be patient, my son, because capture those email addresses, save them, upload those into Facebook, create a lookalike audience, which is ultimately a custom audience. Run a targeted traffic ad against that, and soon you too will be getting 5 cents a click. Incredibly cheap, dirt cheap. Instagram ads right now, incredibly cheap. So Facebook, Instagram ads, you got to go all in right now. Double down on targeted ads. Now, traffic ads. All right, let's be clear on traffic ads. Run some engagement posts as well. Run an organic engagement post. Come back around. If you got a $500 budget, if you're working on a traffic $500 ad, a $500 budget for a particular auction, dump 300 in on a traffic ad and 200 in on an engagement ad. Now, listen, if this is going over your head, no big deal, because there's a ton of people out there that know how to do this. Find someone who knows how to do this, pay them, and you will. Oh man, you'll be amazed at the results that you get. I'll tell you, on average, if you look at new registered bidders that we have per auction, about 90% of those come from Facebook targeted ads that we run per auction. The other 10% is a split between, well, Shane, you and Drew both use high bid. So they come from the state high bid pages where people will just kind of stumble across it and find it, right? Steven, do you use high bid? I can't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you're on the Virginia side, but me, Shane, and Drew, obviously we're on the Tennessee side. We'll have some results from those ads, of course, from those state ads. But so here's the other thing, Shane. I'll say about this: all of us forget the auction industry. All small business owners right now, we're all at different levels of comfort for marketing budgets. If you have a marketing budget at all, you have to go all in right now. Number one, with organic content. Number two, if you have a budget, on Facebook and Instagram ads. Period. End of story. End of discussion.
Stephen, what about in your neck of the woods? I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know you guys do kind of a general merchandise type. You have like a consignment auction house. Is that your primary operation? Is that right?
Yeah.
So you kind of never know what you're doing. You don't really specialize in one specific thing. You specialize in kind of what's selling good at that time and what people are bringing you. Your marketing, I mean, do you still do print, local advertising in the Thrifty Nickels or the peddlers or the newspapers, or are you primarily all social media?
We are all social media, and we've been like that for a long time. The last newspaper ad I ran was for a estate auction that I did that had, 40 guns back on November 1st. And we only did that because the gentleman was well known in the area and we thought it might help. But with a raise of hands at the auction, we only had, I think, 1 or 2 people come, and everybody else came from social media and auctions it. So a long time ago, we transitioned to social media advertising, and we do a lot of videos, a lot of posting. We get a lot of shares. We have a very big presence. My family, we also own a retail store, closed at discount retail, that so we can reach a lot of people. I think we can reach about 40,000 people that just follow just our pages alone. So this virus hitting, it hasn't really changed our marketing ploy at all, in the fact that we've always been heavy social media, and that's always been where the engagement is at. We really like live videos. They're improfessional, they're impromptu, they're whatever. People like the personal touch. They can relate with you, they can interact. And it's not perfect. Sometimes we go too fast. People can't see what we're trying to show them. Sometimes it breaks up. Sometimes the sound isn't good, but it's extremely personal and people absolutely love it. And they're fun to do. I mean, once you kind of get over the camera shyness, they're actually a lot of fun to do. And so I did, I think 3 today. And I'll do I don't know, 3 or 4 more tomorrow. And for instance, when I've been doing my virtual auctions on Thursday nights at 7:00. About 6:55, I go live. Well, I was using OBS, but I go live on all our business pages, personal pages, stuff like that. And last week I had 50 registered bidders from 6:55 to 7:15.
Yeah.
50 people come in and register.
Hey, I'm telling you, it is something. And I said I wouldn't steer the discussion, but I'm so interested. First of all, let's get to some more fake news. I watched Bobby Idols the other day in JD's office. I think JD paid him to make this comment. Stephen, you're going to have to send somebody a comment and have them say something about you. This is also.
I don't have to have somebody to say something like that to feel good about myself.
JD, this is Nikki Jackson. Nikki's probably one of the better pickers in Middle Tennessee. Sells a ton of stuff. You guys are still doing good with advertising and antique, or particularly like good single-sided, double-sided porcelain flan signs, that kind of stuff. I know you're into that as well. I want to jump to this because Tommy Anderson, if you guys don't know, Tommy is a very active member of the TAA. Also, his father was an absolute icon in the auction industry here in Tennessee, but Clive. But what I want to get to is, talking about real estate, and I'll be the first to admit it. And this may be something that you guys did or didn't know or do know. I have a real estate license. I've never sold a piece of traditional real estate.
That's not exactly true, Shane.
What's that? Well, I co-brokered one time just because I think somebody felt sorry for me. But here's what I want to get at. So I did a podcast today with Todd Taylor, who's a relatively successful real estate agent in Davidson County in Nashville area, Stephen. And he's with Keller Williams, and he is on the auction train. And when I say that, I mean it. This guy understands it, he knows it, and he puts his work in. He's probably, I think Jay should send Todd Taylor a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle. He's made that much money off of him. But it's good, because that's what we want, right, JD? We want other agents in our area to understand. And I know Drew knows this, but here's what I'm having. This is my barrier of entry question for you guys. I am still in the Clarksville market where a lot of real estate agents still view auctioneers as an adversary. And really the only reason I have for that is because they don't understand. Because I know if they understood, they would be on board. And Tommy has done for years. Tommy has educated people, and the Bobby Colsons of the world and the Jay Cashes. And just go through the Rolodex in Nashville. They've educated a bunch of folks. But out here in Nashville, they still don't. The truth, or out here in Davidson or Montgomery County, they don't understand they can still make a check. That's what it comes down to. So Talk to me, Drew, about locally. You sell traditional real estate. JD sells traditional real estate. Stephen, are y'all in any real estate business at all?
All we do is, in Virginia, you don't have to have a real estate license to sell real estate at auction.
Okay.
So, this is kind of a sore subject for me because the coronavirus claimed a real estate deal. I sold a restaurant in February, and 24 hours before we were supposed to close, they backed out, and it was a mess. So
here's my thing. We don't sell traditional because I don't want any misinterpretation whatsoever. I'm 100% in on the auction method. Now, hold on a second before y'all get mad at me, because I know JD and Drew are 100% in the auction method as well. But here's my question. If I'm in the traditional real estate business, would it make it harder for me to partner with other agents from other agencies in my local area? And Drew, you go first. Jason's been doing it for a long time. I already know his answer, but Drew, talk to me. You seen any barriers with that? You getting referrals from other agents locally?
I am, of course, most people don't know, but we just recently, Beth and I took our company over. I'm wanting to actually bring Jay up and do a CE class and teach the realtors here to explain to them that the auctioneer can be such a good friend. I have pitched to a couple of realtors that were very receptive of partnering with me on selling a piece of real estate at auction. One of the pieces of real estate is tied up in probate right now. The other one, the math just doesn't work, Shane. The math has got to work. That's a fact. You know, if they owe in this particular scenario, I think it's about a $125,000 property, and they owe $120,000 on it. The math just doesn't work for that property. They're bought into the method. The realtor's good. I explained to him, hey, I'll get you paid. You know, you're going to get paid, but you're a partner in this. You're not just going to sit over there and watch me work. You're still going to have to show the house. You're still going to have an open house to get us some feedback. You know, this is not where I'm going to do all the work and just sit back and let you do it. You're going to be in this deal with me, but I'm going to get you paid. Of course, you and I have seen this deal work. Gosh, Shane, we've seen this work 75 times last year. It works. Todd Taylor, gosh, I don't know how many referrals he's had. It does work. I pitched it a couple of times in Dixon. Like I said, one of them still tied up in probate. The other one, the math just doesn't work. The math has got to work. That's the main thing. But I do think there is a little bit of people. I come from a town where the auctioneers here are like, we don't want realtors at our auction. Well, I'm the total opposite. I want to make it where I want them all to come.
That doesn't. I would love to have a discussion with those folks because that doesn't make sense to me.
I'm dead
and
serious.
Here, let's go with this because Tommy Anderson just said, talk about co-brokered, talk about broker participation. JD, I know you're smart enough to get the realtors from other folks involved because here's the deal. If the realtors can get some skin in the game, they'll get interested in your auction listing. JD, talk about how you handle that. I don't know how much you want to pull your skirt up on industry secrets, but I know that you understand the concept. And if we can get it across the nation to where realtors start working with auctioneers, man, you talk about transactional based. I mean, that's why I don't do traditional real estate because it's not a transaction to me. It's a relationship. I don't like the transactional basis of traditional real estate. But if we can get some realtors on board, talk to us about the way you do it in East Tennessee, JD.
Yeah. So there's one key word you just said out of all that garbage, Shane, and that was a relationship. Okay. It was relationship. Understand something. Understand that you're never going to get all the realtors on board. Understand that there's going to be brokers that have their own way of thinking. Understand that they're going to have bad experiences with other auction companies that are outside of the purview of your control. Understand that everybody's not Tommy Anderson, right? The guy's a freaking powerhouse. So you got to think outside the block. And I'm going to give you a industry trade secret, something that I've come up with. It's not rocket science, man. Think outside the box here. So in East Tennessee, we've got something called I'm probably going to butcher this name, but it's Women's Association Council of Realtors, something to that effect. And it is a organization that started with women within leadership positions within the real estate community, and now it's kind of morphed into anyone within a leadership role. Well, guess what they have, Shane? They've got fundraising events. And guess what they do when they have a fundraising event? They have items that they have a silent auction for. And then when they talk to a guy like me, what do we talk them into having? A live auction.
Sure.
Right? That's what we do. So then you got the live auctioneer comes in. And guess what I did in December? I found out what items I was getting ready to sell. 5 whopping stellar items. And I decided to bring in 2 certificates. And these certificates was a 1-hour session with Jason Deal. And in that 1-hour session, it's how to make money at a real estate auction. Brilliant. And I'm thinking, you know what? It's okay. I don't care if it sells for $10. It's irrelevant because that's not the point. The point is, let's get some realtors involved. No, yeah, by the way, I don't care if we open up to the entire firm. You can have one individual realtor, the entire firm, a team, it doesn't matter. Guys, I got up on the block. we sold that certificate for a 1 hour block of instruction for $300.
You should start
We
selling
got up there for
certificates.
300, bro. Right? Yeah. So I
They'll never
ended up
pay for
selling
it again,
two.
just for the record.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but
man,
but only 2 people out there ever wanted that, and one of them already has a certificate now. So
you guys got jokes. You see where I'm going with this, though, right?
Sure.
Think outside the block.
absolutely.
We sold 2 certificates, and I actually finally have the first class scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with the realtor, and she's invited her entire firm to join in. What do you think I'm going to do? Guys, I'm talking to her about the industry. I'm talking about how she can co-op and how she can not only make money by bringing a buyer, if she's a buyer's agent, to the auction, but also if you've got a stale property on the market, it's been on the market for 348 days. What's going on? Let's not lose that client. Don't just let the listing expire. Bring us in and let's talk about how to get this deal done. Anyway, by the way, we co-op. And Drew, you nailed it, brother. You're not co-oping with JD's Realty and Auction and just sitting back on the couch. You're going to do some work. Come on in. Let's be involved. Guys, we're doing a project right now. If you go to our YouTube channel, go to JD's Realty and Auction, hit subscribe. You're going to be able to follow along a process that with us and Sellers Realty is the name of the company. It's actually the Clinton mayor is the agent, and we're co-oping that entire deal all the way through the process. We're making it happen. Easy process.
Man, that's awesome, Stephen. Let's talk about the differences in Virginia. So you're telling me if I've got an auctioneer's license in Virginia, I can sell real estate.
Yeah, you can sell as much of it as you want.
Do I have to have a licensed broker to execute the paperwork?
Nope. Take it start to finish.
Wow. So, JD, you probably know this, but Kentucky's a lot like that. The first 7 houses I ever sold were in Kentucky, and I didn't get to sell them. I was too stupid. I called in a Kentucky auctioneer to only realize later that the law actually says that the Kentucky broker is all I need. So I could sell them and then just use a broker and pay a broker fee instead of an agent fee. Didn't know that. But Jay's got a question for you, Stephen, because who holds earnest money in a real estate transaction in Virginia?
I mean, when I sell it at auction, I do. I mean, it goes into escrow, and yeah. I mean, we handle everything. I mean, selling a piece of real estate at auction in Virginia is no different than selling a tractor.
Wow.
It's really simple. I mean, and the barrier of entry, the biggest deal I have with selling real estate in where I'm at is not that people won't hire me, and not that people, it's not like my business. When they go to sell real estate, they don't think of me. When the realtors get a deal, they don't think, oh, I could sell this at auction, because the companies that I'm competing with in the area, they've been here for a long, long time. And they're just getting deals around. There's nobody really working with realtors. I'm friends with a bunch of realtors, but I just trying to get that whole mindset to think that, hey, this would be a deal good for auction, or it's impossible.
I know his head is going to be too big to get out of the bedroom because we mentioned his name so many times. But if you have an opportunity, Stephen, get Jay Cash to send you his PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. Jay has a PowerPoint that is authorized by the Tennessee Auction Real Estate Commission for CE, which that's not important for you, but it's basically the auctioneer teaching the real estate agent and explaining the basics to them. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and Tommy Anderson set it up here. They call it Lunch and Learns. Mm-hmm. But in the Nashville community, Jay and Tommy and other folks will go into these meetings, and the way that they get in the door is because it's CE, right? It's a genius idea, giving all the secrets away. But I like Gary Vaynerchuk. He says, you can tell me every secret. I'll tell you every secret I've got. Only 1% of the people are going to do it anyway, right? Yep. So teach it to them, and then they can get the credit for it, and they understand the process. I mean, it's a killer way to get people involved. And that's what Drew was talking about earlier, having Jay come down because it's approved for CE, and for us, for Jay to do it, Jay has to do it to get the CE in Tennessee. But anyway, I want to transfer to something real quick with you, Drew. What do you think is going to be the biggest difference to the auction industry on the other side of this? JD and I have talked through this. I talked to this to Philip Gableman today. We talked to Penny, Kathy Baber yesterday, the two folks that are running for or two of the five that are running for the board. I truly believe that when this COVID-19 thing is over with, you are going to look back and say, wow, the auction industry changed in this particular way. And I don't know what it is yet. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's going to be one of those weird moments like when you take your belt and shoes off going through TSA now, where it's no big deal because it's become second nature. There's something like that going to come out of this, and I don't know what that is yet, but what are your thoughts on it, Drew?
Gosh, I don't know. I know that the amount of people now, of course, it has a lot to do, Shane. I think that is the COVID-19 going to be here with us for another month? Is it going to be here for 3 months, 4 months? Who knows? As businesses suffer, they're certainly going to need people like us to, help liquefy items. But I'm worried about the buyer pool because if we have lots of restaurant equipment, do we have lots of people buying that restaurant equipment and things like that? So I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with how long this deal lasts. Of course, I know that my phone started ringing yesterday because the governor gave us 2 more weeks of quarantine, essentially, So that's what made the phone start ringing. May the 1st comes around and he extends this thing another 2 weeks. That's just going to make the crisis a little more serious. I think there's going to be plenty to do. I am concerned, and y'all may say no. I'm a believer in the auction method, but a lot of these businesses, if there's a big influx of stuff to sell, is there going to be enough people to buy it and spread it out? That's my concern. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Y'all know more about this than I do. But that's my biggest concern is the amount of buyers it's going to be for the amount of stuff that's going to be available if this goes on for another month.
I've had the same thoughts that you've had on that at the buyer pool. But the internet, years ago, that was always a question. Now the internet, we could take that restaurant equipment. We can go to, metropolitan areas. Like I'm rural here, but, I'm 2 hours north of Charlotte. I can market it to Charlotte where there are people that, with money that are looking to buy distressed assets. And so I'm actually excited about the other side of this. I think there's a lot of opportunity. And, I see the NAA and, not many of these associations, they're talking about how to get through this. But I would also like to see some stuff of the opportunities on the other side. So what's coming? How can we as auctioneers, how can we provide our services on the other side to not only help our businesses grow, but to provide an essential service?
That's a magic question, Stephen. And I'm going to say something now because there's only 27 people watching, but JD's got a military background. I've got a military background. So I'm probably known for being a little less eloquent about saying things. But what you just said about the buyer pool doesn't concern me as something else I have found. And if you're an auctioneer out there, member of an NAA or TAA, and this offends you, I apologize up front. And I'm far from being an exception from this. But this is what I want to say. If being out of business for the last 2 months or 6 weeks or month has put you in a situation where you may not be able to survive, if that has happened, now is the time to figure out what in the world you can do differently in the future. Mm-hmm. Because JD has spent countless hours counseling his both non-commissioned officers and his officers underneath him on financial management. And I have done the same in 2 different services. It is astonishing to me how many people are going to be affected in the auction industry.
I know.
So look, I'm not jabbing at anybody because believe me, My wife and I, if it wasn't for my military check, I would be scrambling too, you know, and if I lived outside of my means, I would be scrambling too. But here's what I'm saying. Use this as a pivot point in your business to say, get the heck out of that mindset of living paycheck to paycheck. Stop selling and doing whatever you're doing because it's not working. If you stop getting an income for a month and it might put your family out of your home, man, you got to really take a deep breath and reassess some stuff. And I'm sorry because I know it's affecting. Tommy Anderson saying stuff like, what about Ritchie Brothers, Barrett Jackson, other huge live venues still going to do? I mean, I know Ritchie Brothers got an online presence. Barrett Jackson is not moving forward as of now. I'm sure they will. But I'm talking about the small. Yeah. The root of our industry is mom and pop businesses. It is less than 10 employees, less than 25 employees. Man, if there's something I can do to help, if it's a financial management class, if it's how to balance your checkbook, what to use different, how to budget. I mean, JD and I have taught those classes to grown men our whole lives because I hate to see it's affecting people the way that it is. But be diverse, right? Have diversified streams of income. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But hey, guess what? The most successful ringmen and contract auctioneers right now is where my heart goes out to because look, they're lighting the world on fire a month and a half ago. I mean, guys that are making a good living, a perfect living. They're doing what they're good at. Hell, with diversifying, some of the best auctioneers and best ringmen traveling up and down the country every year or every day of the year, 5 days a week sometimes. But listen, they got caught working. That's all that happened. Somebody said that the other day. They didn't get caught doing anything besides working. It's all gone all of a sudden. So now's a good opportunity to diversify, figure out a secondary revenue stream. And y'all want to know the truth about Shane? My daughter has sold $6,000 worth on eBay in the last 5 days.
Boom.
6,000. Of course, it's stuff that I've been stockpiling. But you can go to it. TN Auctions on eBay. That's our seller. She sold packages. Why? Because I know how to do it. I've been scrapping my whole life. When I was in the military, I didn't make enough money.
I love it.
When I was 18 in the Marine Corps, I delivered. I did secondary stuff, you know. So that's what scares me. David Mahaney asked how old my trucks are. 2010, Dave.
At least you have a truck.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm scared to say I'm fearful to say this, but about a week before this COVID-19 stuff happened, guess what Shane and Amanda did? Bought a brand new Ford Expedition. I'm talking top to bottom, left to right, best thing she could find on the lot. Just got to pay the bills.
Shane, guess what? You bought a new vehicle. I hired 2 new staff. I hired an operations manager, right? I hired an operations manager, paying him a crap load of money, and a videographer, paying him a crap load of money. And that's pretty rough. But at least I didn't buy a company like that guy down there did.
Well, I tell you, like me and my dad just had this conversation tonight about like businesses. How can you ever prepare for something like this? Because the nation has never ever seen anything like this. And how are we supposed to know? 6 months ago that the entire country was going to shut down. I mean, it was just unheard of. Nothing's ever done it. And I told Dad, there's only one way that a business can survive it, because you don't know the next, your business might be open now, but the next pandemic comes, it may shut it down, may do whatever. But there's only one way to survive it, and that is to hoard cash. You have to hoard a bunch of cash. And the book that helped me the most with that was Profit First.
That's a good one, man.
Have you ever read it, Jason?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Yeah. And, general accounting is, income minus expenses equals profit. Well, no, It should be profit. What is his formula on there? I've drawn a blank on it now, but it's taking your profit first and hoarding that cash. And that's the only way you can survive it. And I told Dad, I said, from now on, I says, cash is king. I am going to, because there is going to be assets that are going to be on sale right now that we'll probably never see them as cheap again in our lifetimes. And people with the cash are going to have more cash because they're going to buy them assets at 70, 80% discounts. And they're going to shoot up past their highs so fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah. And so cash is king. If you want to get through this, if you want to weather anything, cash is king. Read the book Profit First, Mike Michalowicz.
Oh, dude, profit's awesome. You know what my goal is? Hey, you know, if you got cash, if you have cash on hand, what you can do with that? You can buy these businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just face it. Shane, you want to have some real talk, man? Let's have some real talk. You got cash. You can buy these businesses when they get in trouble. Because guess what? There's a brighter side if you know how to take that business to the brighter side.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about counseling grown men? We'll have that conversation. But fact of the matter is, and let's just be real. Let's just take a step backwards. If you are at a point right now and you're a small business owner and you're watching this, whether you're watching it live right now or you're watching it 10 days from now, everybody is at a different point within their career, within their financing. Oh my gosh, did Tommy Anderson just say Jay Cash is my king?
There's a bunch of
Can
fake
you-
news going on over in the chat.
Can we ban Tommy for a minute?
Yeah.
Yes.
His judgment's obviously been compromised.
He's
Tommy,
been
are you
drinking all
drinking?
day.
Yes. No, Tommy, we love you, man, and we love you. And yes, I'm going to close that Berkshire Hathaway deal, by the way. But back to what I was saying is everybody's at their own different level, and you have to understand that level. And Shane, you were talking about a second ago. If you're at a point to where you are suffering because you don't have enough cash or you're living paycheck to paycheck, here's the deal: just recognize it. Learn from this mistake, because let's face it, it's a mistake that you were at, and figure out how to cross that path if this ever happens again. How do you position yourself? How do you position your team? How do you position your company to be able to succeed if something like this ever happens again?
Mhm.
And if you've got the $50 that Jay Cash is posting, Shane, pop it, $50 right now.
Is that a bid?
If you have that
Is he
$50
bidding
bucks,
on something? Does he
I
think
think
this
he's
is a Facebook
bidding on
auction?
something.
Well,
I
what
think
Jay
he is.
doesn't realize is that I asked him for something 4 hours ago. And in the
Oh, man.
meantime, I figured out how to do it myself. Now he wants to charge me $50 and essentially Drew, what he has is something he'll never be able to use, right?
I don't know. I don't see the comments.
Oh,
You
you don't
go
see the comments? You must be on your phone. So
Yeah, I am. I don't see the comment.
Yeah, you're missing a good time here.
yeah.
We got to buy Drew a laptop.
Well, I've got them, but they're at the office. But you got to
I got a
understand,
couple
I've
old
been
ones
all
I
over the
could send him.
world.
I'm sure he
I've
could
been all
piece
over
them
the
together.
world with Jay Cash. Been all over the world with Jay Cash, so I can only imagine what he's saying.
Hey, so let me throw this at you, Stephen. Do you do any benefits? You do some benefit auctions, don't you?
I'm getting into it. I'm trying to get into it more, but
So I know JD does a few. I know Drew's done a few. And Jay is really the person that brought us into the whole industry. But so this Saturday, I'll be working for an organization in Nashville. It'll be the first virtual benefit gala I've done. JD, I'm so interested because I might need you to fly me one of your medium sequined vests for me to wear. But here's the deal. Virtual only, live only. I'm the only guy in the room, 7 monitors in front of me, full production team, right? And this is really serious because we were talking about the benefit or the contract folks a while ago. Let's talk about the folks that have hung their hat on the benefit peg, if you will, making tons of money, doing good stuff across the country, raising millions of dollars for nonprofits all over the country. I mean, there is a large portion of the auction industry that's what they hang their hat on, right? I mean, there's some people that have never done anything but that. It's gone. It's gone. I spoke today with a lady from one of the bigger organizations, okay? One Cause specifically, JD, if you've ever worked with them, and they are scrambling, they are trying to partner with auctioneers to understand how to do this virtual thing. So here's my question to you other three professionals. You're on the stage, it's easy, right? You get the energy from the crowd. You can play off the crowd. You can play off the atmosphere of the room. Drew's doing backflips apparently, or spinning around. I'm not sure what he's doing over there. I'm getting seasick. But if you've never done a benefit before, it's a live auction's just the same. How in the world do you stay excited in a room by yourself in front of 7 monitors and try to raise $1 million for an event? Anybody got an answer for me?
Bringing in the money.
You better get
the virtual
Trey Morris playlist.
I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I thought the same thing. But when I started doing virtual auctions, man, when the bids started coming in, it's start hitting it. I mean, you get in a groove, and
I'm with you.
It's kind of, I mean, yeah, it's different. It's something to adjust to. And my biggest thing was sitting in front of a microphone in front of a TV auctioneering. It almost felt like for a little bit that it cheapened my craft, but it doesn't. I mean, it works.
What do you think, JD?
No, man. I mean, here's the deal. Be yourself, bro. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no you don't have to, like. I mean, let's just face it. Drink a full throttle, right? I mean, drink an amp energy drink, right? Because that's what we do. We get ourselves hyped. But at the end of the day, be yourself. Because, dude, I'm gonna tell you, he's right. He's right. Like when you see those bids coming in, because I've done some Facebook Lives and some of those things. But when you see those bids coming in, man, it's like, hey, game on. Let's go. And then at the end of the day, remember what it's about, right? I mean, you remember what the cause is about. You be yourself. It doesn't matter, man. You'll be fine. Yeah, it's all good, because there's no right answer. I mean, the wrong answer is just sit there and say, and who will be, if you're doing a funded need, do we have a $2,500 donation tonight? No, what? No.
I'm excited about it, and I'm going to tell you why I'm excited about it. Because first of all, I can wear flip flops, right?
Or no pants. Do you have to wear pants?
Huh?
Do you have to wear pants?
I'm going to be in board shorts, tux top. Okay.
Yes.
That's the first
Kind of
thing.
like your senior. It's kind of like your senior photo.
That's right. I dropped out my 11th grade year. Thanks for bringing that up. That's why I could only get into the Marine Corps, JD.
That's what I was about to say. Just the reason he's a jarhead.
If you're wearing board shorts and a tux top and you're sitting down, just don't forget you cannot stand up.
Just roll with it, man. Do not stand up.
No, but here's the deal. And Brandon McCurdy gave me that idea about wearing the flip flops.
Gosh, we got Braden out here tonight. Whoa,
yes, sir. He's living. Hey, but here's what to me is that this nonprofit that I'm working for this weekend has enough confidence in us, right? Because we talked to them. I did it for him last year. It was Jay's gig the year before, I think, and he pushed it off to me because he's double booked. But man, they have enough confidence in us, and that's where I wanted to shift this conversation. Confidence, relationships, and where your message is going to resonate. I've been preaching this for 4 weeks now, at least. I want to go around one more time. We're going to be right in an hour. We'll wrap this up. But this is important. If you're an auctioneer out there, or you're a consumer and you're possibly going to need an auctioneer, listen to this. This is a time for the auction community to embrace their surrounding community. It's not a time for an ask. And JD has said that on multiple different platforms. This is the wrong time to walk into a place and tell them what you can do for them. This is a great time for you to say, these are the services I provide, and this is how I want to help you if you need it. And in the meantime, can I buy something from you? Can I promote something for you? Will you come on my podcast so we can talk about what you're providing? you don't have an online platform, guess what? I do, because about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago, and I'll pull this up real quick, Elizabeth was talking about what options are there online for virtual auctions besides Facebook and the internet. JD, I know you've done some Facebook stuff. It's gotten to the point where there's so many people doing it, the bandwidth won't support it. You got to type something before you're not, I mean, it's a wreck at this point, right? Find a local auctioneer that has an online platform and let them put your stuff on a global marketplace. That's the answer. Find a professional, not somebody that's regularly, going to put some stuff on there once in a while. I'm talking about a professional. But I want to go one time about positioning. Drew, talk to me about the way you want to position your message, because I think it's important as auctioneers, we position our message in a certain manner that's not the ambulance tracer, okay? But we are the provider and the ability to take your market to your asset to market as quickly as possible if you need us, but we're not forcing ourselves on anybody. Go ahead, Drew.
My deal is, Shane, and we say this in the benefit business all the time, and you've said it too. We're not here to fix a problem you don't have, okay? If you have a problem, tell us what that problem is. What can we do? The store that I'm starting tomorrow that has all the vendors, I called her a few weeks ago, and she wasn't all that interested. That's fine. I told her, I said, hey, we're friends. She buys from me. I'm not here to fix a problem you don't have. How are we going to get through this? And I asked her that. How is your business going to change? How is my business going to change? Well, that turns into her calling me a couple of days ago really hot. Hey, let's do something. We're not here to fix a problem you don't have, but if you have a problem and I have the ability to help you with it, that's what I want to do. I'm not going to get rich doing this auction. That's a fact. It's going to be a labor of love, but they're friends of mine. They're buyers. So much of my product goes into that store, into those booths, and finds other customers all the time. They send us business. The Trenton deal, Shane, that came out of this store right here. They're friends of ours. We need to help them out, and we can do that for lots of other businesses too. We're not here to fix a problem you don't have.
I love it. Stephen, what do you think?
Absolutely. And just thinking of all the people that it's hit, and I had a good customer of mine. He's a tool dealer. He goes to a lot of flea markets, but he deals in a lot of name brand stuff, Milwaukee, DeWalt. And he has a little cargo van. He hits all the major flea markets. Well, he called me this week and he says, I want you to sell everything. He says, I'm bringing you my van, all the tools, everything. I want you to sell it all because I don't think we're going back to flea markets till November. And that that really hits home with a lot of businesses. And, I've known him, I've dealt with him for a long time. And, I'm going to solve a problem for him. I gave him a break on commission. I'm not going to, like Drew said, we're not going to get wealthy off the deal, but we are going to help him out. And it helps us out. I mean, it's kind of everybody helping each other.
I love that. I love that. And before I get to JD, I want to bring this up. When I was in the military, I did it because it was a service. I felt obligated. I truly did. And when I found the auction industry, man, I knew it was my passion. And JD will relate to this because I know he's a problem solver. If I was just a traditional real estate agent, I'd never make it because I want to solve somebody's problems. I want to sit down. I want you to tell me everything you got going on. And then I want to tell you if I can help you or not. And then if I can't help you, I want to have the ability to take you to somebody that can. Okay. And on that note, I want to send this out to anybody out there. If you're in the auction industry and you don't have an online platform, between West Tennessee, East Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee, we can put you in touch with someone. Because I've got a couple phone calls and I've talked to them through the process, and they're like, man, that's a lot of work. Well, it is a lot of work. It's not easier. If you're getting the online auction business because you think it's easier, you're getting in the wrong business.
I'm working harder a lot at online than
anywhere from Alaska to California to Middle Tennessee, there is an auctioneer somewhere that's got an online platform that's a member of their state and national association that can help you. So don't give up your auction dream of being an auction company because you can't do a live auction. Call on us and we'll help you. First point.
Absolutely.
Second point, solving people's problems. I like the auction industry because I can sit down with someone, either a probate attorney, an estate administrator, or I can sit down with the owner themselves and they can say, Shane, this is the problem I have. And I can lead them down the road of their multiple different options of the ways that we can handle their estate. Okay. I love that about it. We are a service related industry. And if you're in this thing to get rich, you're not going to make it. If you're in this thing to help people and you want to help folks, make sure you're dealing with a professional. Make sure you're dealing with someone that knows what they're doing, that got good reviews, that are sitting on top of the world and know exactly what's going on. You have to have your finger on the industry. There are auctioneers that have been in this business for 30 years. And JD, you'll laugh at me, but it's like the staff sergeant that's been in the military for 25 years. He'll say he's got 25 years of experience, but I'm here to tell you, he's got 1 year of experience 25 times. And it's the same thing with auctioneers. You can either be Amazon or you can be Toys R Us. You figure it out. Because in 1980, when I was growing up, Toys R Us was the biggest and best thing going. Where are they now? They did not make any changes. So which one do you want to be? And don't have 12 years of experience of the same thing. You have to evolve. And that's why I admire JD so much, because he understands that. And just because he's been in the business for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, he's got that many years of experience because his business has evolved and changed with the times. If you've done the same thing the whole time you've been in this business, you've only got 1 year of experience, man. You've just got it how many years you've been, the doors have been open.
Yep.
So make a change. Now's the time. Do you want to be Toys R Us or do you want to be Amazon? JD, I'm off my soapbox. It's your turn, sir.
Well, that's beautiful, man. I tell you, you got to have situational awareness for consumer behavior. Understand what consumer behavior is. Understand what technology is doing, because technology is evolving. Shane, with or without you, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're going to stay on board or not. If you want to stay in your own little comfort zone, you can do that, and soon you'll become irrelevant. You get the opportunity to decide if you want to remain relevant. Because pretty soon what's going to happen within the 8, 10, 12-year time frame, we're going to be asking Siri, we're going to be asking Google Home to sell your home for you and schedule a real estate agent to be at your house at 10 a.m. on Thursday, April the 16th. And guess what? If you don't have a clue, if you don't understand how to be a part of that, that environment, you're going to become irrelevant, because I will be relevant and you'll be out of business. So just understand that, and understand that not only are we in the auction industry, but we're in the small business industry. And it's important. It's ultra important, in my personal opinion. If you want to hear Jason Dill's remarks, it's important to be a valued member of your community. You don't just need to be the person to go to when there's, name it, whatever situation is going on. You need to be the person to go to ask the question, to see if Shane knows the answer or not. Why? Because you're relevant within the community, and they understand. They keep seeing Shane's face, and they keep understand that Shane's a problem solver. Who cares that you're an auctioneer, dude? Nobody cares. But if you can solve my problems, that's what's important. Nobody cares if you can talk fast. Nobody cares if you can chant, Drew. Nobody cares if you're a Tennessee state champion. It's awesome, and I care, and I love you for that. But what's important is you can solve people's problems, and you have the ability to think outside the box and evolve. That's it, man. That's all I got.
Before I go, one quote that applies that Zig Ziglar always said it. If you listen to anything that Zig Ziglar ever said, was if you help enough other people get what they want, then eventually you can get everything that you want. And we're seeing that in a time where if you're in this business, like you said, just to get rich, you're going to shut down just like that. But if you're in the business to help people, the money or whatever you're looking for, it'll come. But you can't be in the business just for that purpose. You have to be in it to help people, to want to help.
No, I'm with you, man. That's strong, and I like Zig's stuff too. I mean, and it's funny. I said we were going to get off here, and I know y'all got stuff to do. Our view is up to 47. I mean, 47 live people on my No Telling What's on Yours. And I really think, JD, you mentioned this, gosh, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or so when you first started your content. People want to see the real stuff, right? They want to see the styrofoam cup you're drinking out of. They want to see how messy your desk is. They want to see that this bald head is reflecting off of some scandally clad light in my two-tone. I think I've got outside. What is the two type of bulbs? I've got like white, and then I've got inside.
You've got
It's
LED
horrible, man.
and halogen.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it, but I can only do so much. But here's the thing: the count keeps going up. People are still watching, but this is what does it for me. And we can wrap it up after this if we start losing folks, or you guys can jump off if you want to. Nobody's obviously got to stay here very long. But Beth Williams says you got to love what you do. And Tommy Anderson, that's why he's a third generation. Man,
I'm third generation.
that's something. And I want to hit on what Tommy was saying. I've had phone calls. I was lucky enough to do not NAA. I didn't say that. I didn't mean to say that. I was lucky enough to do a podcast or a webinar with JD a few days ago, 3 weeks ago now, I think. Dang, it's been that long. On a site with 400 people watching, right? Professional auctioneers from all over the country. And, I was the last person to go. I didn't really feel that I was, I've been in the business for 6 years. I didn't really feel I was anywhere near as good as the rest of the speakers. But after that was over with, I've had 7 phone calls from people in 4 different states.
Amen.
Wanting to know how to get in the online auction business. And that's why I wanted to bring up what Tommy had just said about proxy bid. And I don't mind throwing it out there. This isn't a PR stunt by any means. This isn't endorsed by the TAA or the NAA. This is just us being real. I don't think it matters at the end of the day. Live Auctioneers, Proxy Bid, Bid Wrangler, A-Pro, High Bid. Throw them all out there, okay? I don't care what you're doing. If you're not doing it now on a platform, you need to change that.
Amen.
You've got to change that. This is my last round, guys. And this is something that Mike Brantley mentioned about a year and a half ago. This is something I've become passionate about, and I just don't know how I'm going to put it into our auction business yet. But Mike Brantley has mentioned on numerous occasions about the auction method, specifically online. So think about this. And this is a true story. I've got an auction closing in 4 days, okay? Everything's as is. Preview is by appointment only, okay? I've got about 5 to 7 pictures on every item. I'm gonna charge your credit card as soon as we're done. Okay? There's no refunds. There's no guarantees. And you can't come and get it until my pickup period. Mike Brantley said this the best. That is the absolute opposite of what Amazon is. I got a brand new office chair today, but I forgot to buy the mat that goes underneath it for my hardwood floor. So guess what I did? I jumped online. I bought a 36 by 40 with a lip on the front of it and bamboo color to match to keep me from scratching my wood floor. It will be here tomorrow at 3 o'clock. If I would have gotten on an auction and JD was selling out a business in Chattanooga, and they had a bunch of office mats for concrete or wood floors, JD would have probably had terms and conditions that said it's as is. You can preview it during these certain times. You got to come pick it up here, and we're going to charge you immediately, and the auction closes in 10 days. All 3 of you guys know that this auction industry has to change with the times. How do we change to be competitive, to compete against our biggest rival because it's not American Realty and Auction, it's not JD's auction, and it's dadgum sure not somebody in Virginia at Stevens Place. Amazon is our biggest competitor. Staples.com is our biggest competitor. What are we going to do? And specifically, what are you going to do to where we can continue to compete with those folks over the next few years? Drew, you're first. No pressure.
You always like to throw these good ones at me. No pressure, right? Well, that's a good question, Shane. I mean, I get 2 or 3 Amazon boxes in my office a day. You know, Beth buys. I hope there's, you know, we just had a holiday. You know, you can't go to Walmart and buy the things you normally buy them. You know, try not to. You know, I don't know who's listening, but you know, we had to turn to Amazon to get the items that we normally would just run down to Walmart and get. So you don't have to plan much because you can get it in 2 days. There's always going to be a something about us as we're selling collectibles and things like that that you're not going to be able to find on Amazon. You know, we are, and I never use the word, I'm not an expert at anything. We are experts in so many fields and so many things. We're the ones that are out and we're, you know, bringing the product in. So I think our longevity is going to be in going out and finding the stuff that you just can't find everywhere. You just can't go on Amazon and get the items that we can put our hands on. You can't go get that Carson City Morgan Silver Dollar on Amazon. You know, you can't go find that old Studebaker car that's pulled out on Amazon. You can't go get a turn of the century fire hose reel that I drug out of a garage in Wrigley, Tennessee off of Amazon. That's the thing that's going to keep us in business is we're still finding the unique items that you can't go on Amazon and find. That's my answer. Like it or not, but that's what I think.
Stephen, what do you think?
I mean, I agree on that side. For my business, a lot of what we sell, like right now, the auction I have tomorrow night is from Home Depot. It's scratch and dent, store returns, shelf pulls, stuff like that from Home Depot. So I'm on the other side of it than from what Drew is mostly. Okay, I do have some estates coming up that would fall into that category, but I am in a direct competitor with HomeDepot.com, Lowe's.com, Amazon, Walmart, all of them. They are a direct competitor. And what we've done to combat that and what we've done to keep interest is my auctions, like my auction that was that starts, well, the auction's tomorrow night. I listed all the items yesterday. We listed them all yesterday and we'll end tomorrow night. 3 days, we let it list. We get 200 people register for 200 lots. It brings really good money. And I offer a guarantee. If it doesn't have a gas engine, I guarantee it. You take that drill home and you plug it in. If it don't work, you bring it right back to me. And our return rate is nothing. I mean, over the last 4 auctions, I've had 2 returns. And so it's kind of, we're promoting more the experience. You know, you can go to Amazon, but you're probably not going to get as good a deal. And Amazon doesn't have an auctioneer. Amazon's not talking to you. Amazon's not got that person. And so that is how we're fighting back. Now, Drew, where you're selling coins and stuff, you're absolutely right on that end. You know, they can't go to Amazon. They can't get that. But we're on the other spectrum where they are our competitor. And we have to constantly fight that. And I know there's an auction house about an hour and a half south of me. They do exactly what I do, and they sell everything as is, and they get crazy money. They're in a much bigger city. They run 2 sales a week. They were all live, and they just switched online. But it's for them, it works to do it all as is. For us, we have a lot happier customers, and I don't have to worry. If I guarantee that if I say something's going to work, people know it. I don't have to worry about it.
Goes back to relationships that JD was talking about earlier. You do business with the people you trust. What do you think, JD? How are you going to evolve? Unmute yourself first.
Check 1, 2.
You good?
All right. It's like I said earlier, man. It's understanding what service you're providing. Number one. Number two is building relationships. Number three is building trust. So, I have kind of taken the stance of it's a brand decision to decide if we're going to sell as is, whereas without warranties or guarantees. Real estate, completely separate transaction versus a 1911 $2.50 Indian head gold coin. You buy that piece, Shane, I send it to you, and you call me and say, hey, bro, this coin is fake. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to refund your money. I'm probably going to tell you just keep it. Now, that's one thing. As is, whereas warranties without warranties or guarantees. That's the first thing. The second point I think you're talking about is it's the and Mike is big on talking about, and I have sat through a lot of classes with Mike, and Mike and I agree on a lot of everything he says. What Mike's referring to is the fact of when we want something, we want it now. We're in a now society. So we want to get on Amazon. Drew, you said you get 2 packages a day. Man, what are you ordering? I don't know what you got going on down there or up there.
He's trying to stay stocked on toilet paper, man.
Good Lord. Yeah, I'm like, good Lord, man, I ain't got 2 packages from Amazon all week.
Hey, y'all can laugh at that, but our store is rocking with toilet paper, man.
Sure.
Hey, I love it, man. I love it. But, you got to look at in terms of everything is a brand decision, and you got to be very conscious of what your end user's doing. And the only way to do that is get out there and talk to that consumer and find out what's best for them, what they're asking for, what they're doing. Why did they buy this washer and dryer? And listen, because most of them are going to say, I'm so glad the auction's finally over. I needed that washer and dryer last week. Well, guess what, Drew? You may have even gotten more money out of it if you just sold it for last week, if you'd sold it to them last week. So now we're starting talking about buy it now options. Is it something you want to incorporate within your brand? And I think it's a brand decision to understand that. And now let's talk about a $300,000 home. Do you want to have a buy it now? If you want to have a buy it now, that's okay. But it's a brand decision of understanding kind of how there's the baby. She's in here now. But it's a brand decision. Yeah. It's truly a brand decision because Drew hit it. Drew opened it up. He started us off with talking about collector coins. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think you actually can buy Morgans on Amazon now, by the way. Wouldn't surprise me, right? Wouldn't surprise you either if I said you can buy an 1883 I mean, dude, last year, let's just throw some numbers out. I probably sold $400,000 in coins and currency last year in gross total. Amazon sold a hell of a lot more than that if they're selling coins, I can promise you. Probably today. Brand decision, man. Understanding your market. Understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of questions coming in tonight, man. What's up?
What's that?
You got a lot of questions coming in.
Yeah, I know, and I love it. Look, we're up to over the 4. I've got three of the Facebook. It's on 3 Facebook pages and my YouTube and all of y'all's, and I'm looking at over 1,700 views since we started. I mean, and I think that's just a testament to people that first of all, they don't have anything to do. That's the first reason. Right. And second of all, yes, exactly. And Stephen, you're welcome to bring her in or whatever you want to do, man. But we'll wrap it up here. But here's what I think. This is just the old ball-headed Marines thought process. The auction industry, when it started, was a supply and demand situation, right? There was a surplus of stuff from the war, and we were selling it to people who may needed it, and they needed it. They didn't want it. They needed it. I think it's important to know that there's a lot of auctioneers that are selling a lot of things out there, okay? A lot of stuff. As we evolve over the next few years, we're going to have to start being smart about the things we're selling. If it's something that's not in a huge demand, auctioneers need to understand that they are not going to be able to market that item to a large amount of people that want it. Because we all agree, an auction works best when you have an asset, right? I have this asset, and it's one of the only few within a certain amount of area that's available, and I'm going to make the 12 people interested in compete. That's when the auction is magic, right? When you're selling the same thing over and over again, specifically when it's the same thing that people can get everywhere else, you've got two options. You either become an auctioneer that sells the stuff that's hard to get a hold of, like Jay or that Drew alluded to, or you become an auctioneer that sells things, buy it now or get it quick. And I like it, Stephen. I think, there's a competitor here locally that I got to put this up. Look at what Beth said.
I love it.
Finally teaching Drew how to read, right?
Fake news, just for the record. But here's what I think. Stephen, if you're selling items quickly, I think you're going to resonate to a larger crowd if it's an item that doesn't have a huge demand.
Mm-hmm.
We're running estates for 10 to 14 days, and if it's just general merchandise, it doesn't work. If it's good stuff, it works. If it's stuff that's in high demand or hard to get to, it works. So I think it's evolution. And the unknown Facebook user up here said you're going to have to evolve. And I think that's my point behind this.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to evolve. I mean, you either get on the tracks and roll down the tracks with the train, or you get run over. And for me, guys, I appreciate you three. This is the inaugural first episode, and I think we have covered every word on the block that there could be.
What your next episode could possibly be.
Yeah. JD, what's that, JD?
Yeah, I mean, how do you top episode 1, bro?
That's it. It's going to be a very large ask for the next folks. So, Stephen, thanks. Tell the wife and the baby that we're sorry. I know Beth is watching, and I know Natalie's probably asleep, JD, because she works hard.
She is. She is, and let me tell you, Stephen and Drew and Shane use something real quick. When Shane ends this is going to go. He's going to post it. It doesn't matter. He didn't get an option. It's going to go. It's going to be posted on his Facebook page, guys. If you'll click on his Facebook video, make it expand, right click, hit show URL, copy the link, and then open a new tab and go to fbdown.com. Paste the link, hit download, and then hit download again for SD. You'll have this entire episode downloaded on your hard drive, on your desktop, and then upload it to your YouTube channel. Boom! You just got one piece of content right here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hold on a second. In my defense, I want to say that JD was an Army officer, an infantry officer to be exact. That's always the way he does. It tells you at the very last of it exactly what to do. That's why the Army didn't work for me. Stephen, thank you. I know you're a lot more of these. Drew, Stephen, JD, I'd like to have you guys on, just independently, randomly through this. But this is going to be fun. JD, I'm still waiting to be on the business page with you in Knoxville. And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much. And we're going to end this baby right now because that's the word on the block.
Thanks, buddy.